Well, guys, back in the Dooley. I'm here with Drew. This is my son, Andrew Walker Summit. He goes by Drew. Mr. Summit here. That voice. Anyway, just praising God today for the life He's given me. The highs, the lows, the opportunities, my family. So blessed. Of course, I mentioned my daughter and I both in 2020, after getting COVID or the flu, it triggered autoimmune disease, Crohn's and colitis, both of us. But the Lord's blessed us. My daughter still has some not complete remission, but we're healthy. She's growing. We're all doing much better on a biologic, and we're praising God for the health that we have, because I know what it's like to be hospitalized and on my back, lose over 50 pounds. You feel you're dying, and you can tell it. I'm just praising God for the life today that He's given me, and the opportunity to be a blessing to someone else, be a blessing to my kids. Got a dog back here somewhere, little Ivy. Got a wife and a daughter, Kate, we're going to meet in town. We're in the piano business here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Only piano store, Summit Piano's been around for over 100 years. They were one of the largest Baldwin dealerships in the country. Sold a lot of Baldwins. At one point, they took on Kauai pianos and sorry, there's a cop behind me, so I got to put the camera down a little bit. Let me shut this radio off too. It's probably hard to hear me. But yeah, one of the largest. We sold more Kauais at Lansford Piano back in the 60s and 70s when they came out and started hitting America real strong. DeKalb County. This is the boy right there. Anyway, rolling by. Sold more Kauais than anybody in the country, our dealership. We changed the name in 92 to Summit Pianos. We still had Lansford Service Center on our sign for many decades. We have a full shop where we tune pianos. We've got concert technicians that do concert work on like 9-foot Steinways, Schimmels, and 9-foot Kauais. They're Boysendorf are these higher end instruments that are on the concert stages. We've got guys that just specialize in that. We've got Steinway technicians that have been trained up at Steinway. We've got other technicians that have done a lot of we do rebuilding, refinishing, complete restoration. We also sell retail pianos. We're the Steinway dealer for over 22 years. We're the Pearl River dealer. We're a Roland dealer. We sell a lot of slightly used products. Something that's 10 or 20 years old, maybe even 30. Something that's built in the 80s or 90s. Just been in the home as a piece of furniture. They kept it tuned and would play it on Christmas when somebody came by the house, but just not used much. I mean, these instruments are just barely broke in, with lots and lots of life. Would outlive another generation probably if they were mid-age in life and only had 40, 50 years before they would probably not be interested in the piano anymore. These pianos that we sell, and we sell them for a fraction what a new one costs. And like I said, a lot of these are nice broke-in pianos. Sometimes take a few years to when it's brand new to settle in, and for the soundboard to find its place, and the ribs and everything to get its true sound. Anyway, Summit Pianos here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Been around for over 100 years. Product of Lansford, or still a continuation of Lansford Piano Company. It went through several owners and ended up with my dad back in the early 90s. And he changed the name. It was to Summit Baldwin. Then Baldwin folded, and he changed it to Summit Pianos. Yeah, never make your name a certain product, because Steinway and Sons could go out of business, and then what would you do if you were only marketing Steinway and Sons? I mean, the chances of that happening is slim, but I'm just saying anything's possible. Look what happened with Baldwin. Anyway, I just thought we'd jump on here real quick. Got my son. You got anything you want to say, son?
Just here for, no.
Nothing to say today. He's just rolling with us. Like I said, praising God. Just want to be a vessel for Him today. Want to spread the gospel to somebody we meet, or God's love. You know, the one commandment. I was raised Seventh-day Adventist, and you know, the Adventists still believe the Ten Commandments or you know, binding, and that we should obey the Ten Commandments, especially the fourth. I mean, that's almost their gospel, is the fourth commandment. You know, and now they all say in church, well, you know, the Sabbath isn't salvific, but that's not true. Oh, we obey that Sabbath as a Seventh-day Adventist, man. I mean, if your clothes aren't ironed, you go to church wrinkly clothes. That's what Ellen G. White told them to do anyway. If one shoe's polished and the other one isn't polished, you go with one shoe unpolished, because you need to obey the Sabbath, sundown Friday, sundown Saturday. She even had a vision where there was a halo glowing around the fourth commandment, like it was the gospel or something. I tell you what, my whole family is all my friends are Adventists, and I love them to death. I was for many, many years. I'm a Christian now, and I realize that the cross, that covenant, was complete. It was done. And I mean, that was from God to Moses for His people before we had Jesus come down and die on the cross for our sins. And you can read Galatians. I still read it once a month. It's very clear that we're not, we don't need to worship days or months or years anymore, like it says in Galatians, because of the end of that covenant. And, you know, a lot of Adventists will argue they got an answer for everything, you know, like, well, you know, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. You know, I've always heard that, but that's not what it says. If you read that, it says, if you love me, you'll keep my commandment. And then it goes on to tell you that my commandment is love. It's not keeping the Sabbath or the Ten Commandments. I don't think there's any Adventist that keeps the 10th commandment. There's several commandments that we break daily. So to think that we would keep the fourth, I was raised that, the fourth commandment was our works. I mean, I know it was the day of rest, and we work better. Our bodies work better with a day off and not working 7 days a week, and I agree with that. But you know, it's not something that we have to. I hated it growing up, man. You know, and when the sundown went down, the TV came on, and we were watching our stuff. So, obey that fourth commandment. She had a vision, and there was some halo glowing around it. I mean, come to find out now, she never really held that Bible up in the room. There's a lot of people that had, I mean, I was trying to think, what did she do? You know, besides blaspheme the gospel by saying the health message was the right arm of the gospel. That alone is spitting on the cross. Anyway, I praise. I don't know why I went into that. I just, you know, I love. Don't get me wrong. I love my Adventist friends, and I love my Christian family. I know there's a lot of Adventists that are Christians and love God, and they just seeing through the lens of the great controversy and their prophet Ellen G. White. You look at the Bible completely different. Adventists pick and pluck verses from here and there to prove, you know, their investigative judgment or their everlasting gospel. That's adding to the gospel too. There's the everlasting God that was mentioned in Revelation, but it really has nothing to do with the gospel. I never knew the gospel until I left Adventism. Listen to John 3:16. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believe in him shall have everlasting life. Not the one that believe and they're on this path of righteousness and climbing that ladder and doing better. And their gospel was the Sabbath. If you look back in the old letters that Ellen G. White wrote in the 1800s, when the church was just a baby and growing, it's like, we've got more people coming to obey the Sabbath, coming to worship on the Sabbath. It was all about the Sabbath. The gospel was never mentioned. It says in Galatians, if you add to the gospel, you're cursed. And there's places in the Bible where it says you got to test your prophet. There's times the Lord, didn't I cast out demons? Didn't I heal in your name? Didn't I do this? And the Lord says, oh, I didn't know you. There is false prophets. There is going to be, you have to test your prophets. And you got to look at their miracles and their prophecy. Was it all real? I mean, look at some of the things she said about colored people and where they came from. Look it up. Amalgamation. And this is not, there's a lot of, the investigative judgment. It was all finished at the cross. We're not moving from the most holy place to the holy place now. We're not still in this temple that was out in the desert. Guys, you got to test your prophets. And when you're, and 75% of everything Ellen G. White said was not bad, right on. Probably copied from the Bible, just like she copied a lot of her other work from other writers in that day that felt the way she did. She would go to a church seminar that somebody was giving, maybe had been a Baptist or something, came in and have some point, and all of a sudden she'd have a vision about it, write some books about it, that this is what was important, health message, this or that, or wearing long skirts or whatever it might have been at the time that was important to her. But God showed me. You got to be careful when someone says God showed me. God's really not working that way. Didn't need to. After the cross, after his disciples spread the gospel all over the world. Guys, be careful. I grew up in a cult. My whole family's still there, and most of them are obeying the Sabbath. I was down at a property that I was remodeling down in Florida. I worked on Sabbath, and my aunt came by and says, "You were working on the Sabbath, though, were you?" I said, "Well, I tried not to." So we're worshiping our works. This is a work-based religion, and Adventists try to say they're not, but a lot of works. Just obeying the Sabbath says something that you're doing. I'm obeying the Sabbath. Ellen G. White even says that on the way to heaven, when the Lord comes, takes heaven, we're going to stop and rest and obey the Sabbath on the way to heaven. And the angels are worshiping the Sabbath in heaven. This is not biblical, guys. It's not in the Bible. If it's not in the Bible, it's most likely not true. Adventists, I encourage you to read Galatians. Take the 30-day Galatians challenge. Read it every day. It's a short book. I turn on my Bible app and I hit play, and the time I leave Saudi, the time I get into work, I've already listened to the whole book of Galatians. Listen to that over and over for 30 days, and you tell me if there was a halo hovering around the fourth commandment in a vision that Ellen G. White gave. She didn't hold up the Bible. There was no miracles that she ever gave. A lot of copywriting. It's a money-making adventure is what her and her husband did. Anyway, guys, keep God number one. Read the Bible. Not the clear word. Be careful. Make sure it's a real Bible and not one that Adventists wrote and is completely wrong. And no, not the clear word. There's nothing clear about that. Guys, keep God number one. I'm praising Him today. Sorry for the rant there on the SDAs. I was raised one. I'm happy to be free from that. And I'm a new creature alive in God, and pray that the Holy Spirit speaks to me every day to use me in His way, not in my selfish, what can I do for myself today? What can I plan? No. How can you use me as a vessel to spread the love of God and His love and the gospel to everyone we meet. Love you guys. We'll see you next time on Back in the Dooley. Say bye.
And maybe next time we're back in the Bible.
We do a Back in the Bible by Drew. See you next time.